right, day 5 of our 2024 Morel season. Sitting in our peaceful little camp, having coffee by the fire. So today's a recovery day. We're gonna get all our mushrooms dried, get supplies, and try to get some intel about the other fires. Let's check out the mushrooms. They were drying overnight. So what happens when you dry overnight? The air is more humid out. Now it's still good to dry them, but what'll happen is when the generator shuts off, the outside of the mushroom always dries faster than the inside, and then the inside will share its moisture back to the outside. So yeah, so that's good. We'll blast these in the air for like maybe half an hour. These are looking good. See how much they've shrank? Nice. Just making a soup out of last night's chicken roast. It's looking good. That'll be for lunch today. So the bottom ones are ready to do the actual final flash. See these here? They're ready for flashing. Oh, totally. And then the top 3 aren't quite ready for flashing. They're getting there. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take them, put them on the screens out in the sun because the spore tubes are sealed. Yeah, use nature, save some fuel. That way we can turn off the generator. You know, using the sun right away is the trigger for the mushroom to spore. So you do want, I keep saying this, but you do want to seal the spore tubes with as much air as possible without too much heat, because the heat from the sun will trigger the sporing. Once they're stable and the spore tubes are sealed, you might as well use the sun. See our diesel heater. See it pumping fuel.
Put the heat in the bottom. The heat helps in the airflow and pull like a chimney.
Yeah, by having this vertical box, the heat has to go up through all the mushrooms. I've just got our tea we made last night, and it's been sitting in a little bit of water overnight. I've added a bit more water. I'm gonna throw in some spruce tips, and I've added a bunch of honey. And we're gonna put that back on the fire for 10 minutes. Just get it heated up a little bit. And then I'm gonna cool it off, and we're gonna have an iced tea, sweetened iced tea from entirely wild harvested ingredients, apart from the honey. So our mushrooms are just flashing in the dryer right now. That was 51.5 pounds of fresh, I believe. You can just hold my hand here and feel the warm air coming out, and you can feel the humidity on it. So when this stops feeling humid, we know that there's no moisture left in the mushrooms. It's pretty dry. There's just a little bit of humidity. Now we're flashing at approximately 150 Fahrenheit. If you're trying to dry morels for yourself, it's hard to get solid information online. You know, if you've been following the channel, you know that Brandy's been doing this for nearly 40 years. Basically, you do not want to add heat like that early on in the drying. You can cook the mushrooms. Once the moisture is gone out of the mushrooms and there's no risk of steam cooking, then you can add the heat. But they need to be about 80% dry before you do that. So you need to get that moisture out with just airflow and dry airflow, and then gradually increase your heat until you're flashing at 150. As we wait for those mushrooms to finish, I'm gonna go for a little walk. This is an old clear cut, and it's been replanted with lodgepole pine. We've been asked to get some pine sap. So I've got my axe, and I'm gonna get a little bit as a sample for us here. There's some on the first tree right away. There's the sap. Could use a knife for this, but I'm not gonna try to take all of it. I just want some chunks. So I just want, without hitting the actual tree. Like that. I didn't touch the cambium on the tree at all. You know, you get all this sap, and I'm just gonna go for the bulk. I don't need every little piece. Every second tree in this old clear cut has pine sap covering the bottom. See, this one has gone right down into the ground. I need to get some of that dirt off. Try to clean it up a bit. So I believe this pine sap I'm harvesting is going to be used in soap making, which is pretty cool. And it's just everywhere on this clear cut here. So that was a couple of years worth, previous years, and then this year's. Look at that, eh? Smells incredible. Ooh, that's a good one. So you can see when I'm working with the axe, I'm staying outside of the level of the bark and just sort of tapping my way down. As long as I don't go through the bark, I'm not going to damage the tree. How satisfying is that? Not too far from camp still. This area has had a lot of sap. And every now and then I get a little whiff of the soup boiling away on the campfire, wafting over here. I'm just targeting the chunks, not the, like this stuff. I'm not going to carve that off. It's just not worth my time, and I don't want to risk getting into the cambium of the tree there. Looks like this tree was girdled by something, partially girdled. So the sap is basically the xylem and phloem, the water and sugar, concentrated in the tree and then leaking out when the tree is not healthy. In this case, it's probably just leaking out of a wound. And by harvesting in the spring when the sap is flowing, there's two benefits to that. One, you're getting more sap because it's currently flowing. And two, the tree will continue to produce sap for the longest length of time possible for this season, right from spring until fall. And if there is any wounds that the sap was covering, it will cover them back over. There's a lot of sap in this area here. Almost every tree has it, which is fairly unusual. You don't normally see it this frequent, not on every tree. And if you look here, to me, this looks like these trees are suffering from lesions. And I used to work at a tree farm. I helped grow around 40 million plus trees. We would work with pine and they can get lesions. It looks just like this even on the young tree. Lots of sap because of it. You see how they come up the tree randomly? That's exactly how we would see it on the saplings at the nursery. Most common would be at the bottom, like just like that. And that's where almost every tree has that at the bottom. So it could also be wildlife rubbing. But yeah, there's lots. Look how much I have. Almost a full bucket. It's heavy. So every single tree has it.
So let's check on our mushrooms. We got out in the sun. It's got a really nice breeze. Drying these babies out because we've already closed all the spore tubes in the other dryer. So we're using the dryer right now to flash. This is our little temporary camp here. I've been coming to this spot for 20 some years, just about every year. And so we're up on a hill and we're tucked away in the corner here. I wanted to show you, we've got this soup going. So we're gonna add this Hawaiian Chipotle Chicken Chili. Simply delish. So we're gonna add that into our Dutch oven. I think that'll work. So we'll open that up. Boy, it's really cooked now. This is gonna be so easy. There we go. I'm gonna add some more coals and I'll let that cook for a while. And then we'll come back and I'll add the chicken in there. Pop this back on. Remember to stir occasionally. Well, this is how much meat we still got out of that whole carcass. That's a lot. That was a big chicken. Our Dutch oven here, which is boiling nicely. And it's going to go in there. Let it do its thing for a while. And those beans are going to take a while, so. But, there you go. No, yeah, look at them beauties. Yeah. Once those other ones are done, these will go in and get flashed. And beautiful. Yeah. Oh, these are even drier. Nice.
Smells good. I could smell it out there.
How heavy is that?
Heavy.
Holy truck!
So there we go. Here's our iced tea. Let's try this. Got ice from the cooler in there. Super, super healthy.
That is good.
It's really good. Wild harvested iced tea. It's really heating up today. It's speeding up the drying a lot. And so the day before yesterday's mushrooms are done flashing now. We're gonna weigh them up, get our dry ratio.
Okay.
5.14. The next one, 2.21. This is a good ratio, I can tell already. 7.35 pounds of dried. 6.97 to 1. We broke 7 again.
Holy
bonus, man, that's
what
excellent.
What the heck? Eh? They're like perfect.
See all the spore coming out of there? We're at that stage.
Billions of spores. Go spores, go!
It's not visible on the mushrooms, but when you do it like that, you see it. So we've just got to finish yesterday's and then they'll go in that box as well. It's a good start, early season. We're gonna go get some more pine sap. It's getting real hot out here today. It's hot work, but normally you wouldn't find pine sap like this. I mean, you'll see it on the odd tree here and there and get a nice amount, but to have a spot where it's on every tree is very, very unusual. So I'm gonna take advantage of that. Look at that. There's a nice one. There's some bear scat, and I'm not far from camp here, so he's been around. Gotta watch for him. Okay, I've been going for quite a while. Look at this chunk. This is a nice one. Okay, all the mushrooms are done. Early afternoon here, and the generator is turned off. No generator noise. Check these out. This is yesterday's 56 pounds in this drawer. They look pretty good, don't they? If you saw earlier, I picked a big one by the lake, big honker. There it is. You can see how much smaller it is after shrinking down. I'll try to flash the fresh mushroom on the screen and then flash back to this. Morel. 3.91. 4.58. 8.49. Wow. Holy.
What's that ratio?
56.01 divided by 8.49. Here we go. What we get? 6.59. 6.6.
Nice.
So this system is lightweight. It works great for 2 people in the back of the truck, but we did base it off of, you know, Randy's 35 plus years of drying morels commercially, and then we've adapted on top of that and innovated together. And this little dryer is just working great. Now we gotta pack everything up in camp here because we're going to town. Gotta get propane, gasoline, water, and do some intel. Okay, we got fresh drinking water, gasoline, and propane all resupplied. Just coming down to test the water, see if it's warm enough for swimming here. This is the beginning of the South Thompson River. Just up there is Little Shuswap Lake, which is fed by Shuswap Lake, which has the largest amount of shoreline of any lake in BC. Yeah, that's nice. 29 right now. It was -3 2 nights ago. What's going on here? So I just went and got another whole bucket of pine sap. This spot is like an anomaly. We don't normally see pine sap like this. This is just, there's so much here. You know, normally it would take weeks to find this much, and I got 2.5 to 3 buckets in no time today. It's hard work and it's hard on the hands, but the thing with wild harvesting, when you find a patch like that, the value is the value, and you don't always get lucky. So we're taking advantage of that. Anyways, thanks for watching.